Hey, it's Ivana. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to talk about why reading alone won't make you better. I know it kind of goes against everything you've ever heard of, but stay with me. You've probably heard that line that like leaders are readers and like knowledge is in books, and if you want to get better, you should grab a book and quit watching TV and all that kind of stuff, which is true. The problem is the way that we're doing it. Have you ever been in that situation where like someone's like talking about a book that they want to read and you read it? And they're like, they bring up the name and you're like, oh yeah, I read that. And they're like, oh, did you? What do you think? Do you like it? You're like, good book. You have that like, you're like, yeah, I read it. It felt like good book. You should read it. You should definitely. And they're like, oh, well, what is it about? And this is you. Well, I mean, the work week can have 4 hours if you, read that book. And did you know that people have 4 tendencies? Interesting. And then there's the power of a habit. There it is right there. And let's not forget, habits can be atomic. Like, don't lie. This was you. I've been there too. And you're just like, you have no clue what the hell you read. You read book after book and you can't recall 5 things out of it. And this is what happens. This is what happens to us. Well, there's a few things that happen to us, but there's so much information in a book that you can't possibly retain it just by like going through it once. And I don't know how many people reread the same book because we got to be on to the next, get more knowledge. So you read a book and you put it away and you're just kind of left with this feeling like, did I like it or did I not like it? Like, what's like kind of sort of the main idea? And then we actually don't apply any of it. And then you move on to the next book. And you're reading book after book. And then you're like, oh, when I'm not reading a book, I'll drive and I'll listen to an audiobook. So you're working like multiple books at the same time. And there's so much info coming in that you can't possibly retain it. So you don't. Number 2 is that we get this like feeling of like, oh, I'm better, I'm getting progress, I'm working towards something before you even read the book. Like, have you been on Amazon and you're like, I'm gonna get this book. This is highly recommended based on other stuff I read, but I also heard this was great and it's on this bestseller list. And so you add it to the cart and you literally place the order, and it's things like, it'll arrive tomorrow or it'll arrive in 2 days. You're like, I already feel better. It's like you feel like you already read the book and you didn't do anything yet, and it's just like the satisfaction is already there. That like you're progressing, and it's also like it also lets us escape, because like you read a book because you want to get some knowledge out of it. You think, I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna apply it. I'm gonna smash my goals, smash my whole life. And what you wind up doing is you read it and it provides you with an escape from all the things you're supposed to be doing, which is smashing your life and smashing your goals. And you're like, you know what? I'm gonna read that other book before I get going, because it's a little bit more information I need. So you keep avoiding the things you need to do by putting it off, and also it creates doubt. Like now you're like, well, do I have all the information? There's like 10 more books on this topic. Perhaps I will read all of them before I start doing anything. So what winds up happening is like you read, retain very, very little, and zero action, which is not good. So if you took a brief look at my books, I used to do the same thing, and I'm reading stuff and I'm like recommending books to people. I'm like, I can't tell them 5 things about that book because I read so many of them and I applied very little of it. And then you still kind of like, spin in the same spot. So I actually would either read the book multiple times, which this is kind of a victim of one of those things. These books here, I would mark them up against. Sometimes I would actually mutilate the book with highlighters and pens, which clearly I'm not going to be reselling them. But I'm trying to get something out of it. So take a book that you think you're going to get something out of and like study it. Go through it, sweep through it once, take some ideas down, read it again, make notes, do something actionable with it. Like if you took a book, what did you get out of it? Like quit insulting these authors who like spend their life putting these books together. I'm guilty of all this stuff too, but it's like we read and then we just like toss the book aside and we get nothing out of it. So we need to stop avoiding action, because reading with no action is like just passing the time with a book. Like you may as well go watch TV or something. So try to be more actionable, take some notes out of it. Like I said, reread it. I usually don't like reading books again because I'm like, I already know what's gonna happen. But I find it helpful when I'm trying to learn a concept, because like repeating it over and over, you're like, I get it, it's in here now, versus like maybe like a fictional story I maybe wouldn't read again. So Let me know if you've ever found yourself in a spot, if maybe this is you right now and you're reading through the books. Let me know how you retain information, whether you find this helpful or not. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel and there'll be more videos coming out just like this.